What's up, YouTube? It's Finn here with Finn's Fishing and Outdoors. Today, on this wonderful overcast, muggy day, I'm out here, backyard of the old homestead, doing a kind of a product review, more of a test run. So, I recently purchased a new tent. So I'm going to set it up, and hopefully it rains in the next few days. We'll see how waterproof it is. But yeah, who knows? The daughter and I might do some camping in the backyard. So let's get to it. Ta-da! Alright, so I'm back out here after taking a quick lunch break, and the wind has picked up, and I intentionally pitched the tent so the wind was going at the side, because if I'm sleeping in this, it's a lot of wind going through the tent. So I'm going to get down here real quick and show you the inside of the tent. Alright, so as you can see, it's pretty roomy in here. This is supposed to be a two-man tent. I can definitely see it fitting two people, easy. Considering I'm sitting not even all the way back, just with my leg extended, and I still have probably a foot and a half behind me. As you can see, there are doors on both sides. That is actually a great thing because if it's summertime, you don't have to worry about condensation. You can just leave the mesh closed on both ends so you don't have to worry about bugs. And then it's just how you orient the tent compared to where the wind's coming from. So the wind will actually blow through the tent. And then something else I like, I don't know if you guys can see, but right here, for just about the entire length of the tent on both sides, is mesh as well. So that'll help air ventilation, you know, to keep it from getting all wet and condensation buildup. The initial setup took probably about 10 minutes, but that was because none of the strings were attached. I had to go around and tie them all. I think after today, the setup will probably take less than 5 minutes. This is a trekking pole tent, so I did get 2 trekking poles as well. Those were fairly cheap on Amazon. There's also up here in the top corner, you can't see on this one, I don't know if you can see back here either, but up here in the corner there's a little hook, and there's a hook over here as well. So you can hang a line across and drape wet clothes or, you know, light or whatever you want from that line, from the hook, whatever you want. But to give you guys an idea, there's plenty of room for me to lay in here between the trekking poles even and not touch. So far, it's looking like it was a good buy, good purchase. I checked the weather earlier. It's not supposed to rain this week, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a wet test, but for an ultralight tent, I kind of like it. I hope I like it. I bought it. It's supposed to be a 4-season tent, which you know, as the name says, it's supposed to be good for all 4 seasons. And that's part of the reason why I put it up today, is because I have an upcoming camping trip in the works with a special guest. So I wanted to make sure I knew how to set it up and everything, and maybe even give it a test run, which I think will be happening tonight, because it's supposed to be in the 40s all week. And I have some other new equipment. I had to replace most of my backpacking gear. It had been sitting in the attic. It wasn't properly stored. It needed replaced. So I got new sleeping pads, new sleeping bags. I bought 2 different types of pads. One of them is 3 inches thick. It's more for side sleepers, which I am. And then I bought another one. It's 1.5 inches thick. Amelia's going to be using that one. So she might even give a review on it tomorrow. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get that gear and get it loaded in here and ready to go. So I'll see you in a few minutes. My air mattress, Amelia's air mattress, Amelia's sleeping bag, my sleeping bag. Woohoo!
This is fun.
So someone here wanted to say hi and help set the tent up. You gonna say hi to everybody on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
There you go. Now say hi.
Hi.
Okay. So now we are going to be setting up Amelia's sleeping pad. It is Gear Doctor's. It's a 4-season sleeping pad. It's 1.5 inches thick, and it is supposed to be self-inflating. So this is, oh wow. So you unroll it.
This is in my way.
Open the valve here. Alright. Now we just gotta let it sit, and supposedly it'll whoop, fluff up. So I need you over here. Someone's a little excited to be on camera again.
Hold on, I have to be over there.
Okay. Can you get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go through here.
Okay.
I love my bed.
Well, you gotta let it reinflate.
There's a big one here. There's
Hold on, that one's fine. Hey, Georgia.
It's heavy.
Yep.
I can hardly carry that. Is that yours, Carol?
Nope, this one's yours.
Yay, I love it.
All right. So we're gonna zip this back up for now.
I'll do this one.
Can you zip it up?
Yep.
Other way. This way. We're closing it, not opening it. Ta-da! All right. We're gonna let yours sit for a minute. All right, we got Amelia's sleeping bag set up. Her pad is, it's still kind of inflating, but we're gonna sit on it for now so I can set mine up and show you guys mine. Mine is not self-inflating, but what's cool about mine is, well, hold on, let me, there it is. Mine has a built-in pump. Ooh. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to open this up. To inflate, open the flip top cap. Okay. So, there is the valve for deflating. And here's the valve to inflate. It has a little foam you can either use it like I am or a step on it. This specifically says to step on it to inflate.
Daddy, you got mine.
It's alright, give it a minute. I think my sleeping pad is farting. As you can see, just from the little bit I've already been pumping on it, it's already starting to inflate pretty good.
Daddy, can I do that too?
I wish the pump section was a little bit bigger, just so you could get more with every pump.
Hi.
Look at your hair, girl. Okay, finally got it all inflated. I twisted it around so the pump's at that end, and now this is gonna go where we're sitting. Did you fart?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's testing the ventilation in the tent. And the smell's gone. Stinky butt. Like I said, well, the sleeping bag she's using is the Walmart one that I bought for my kayak trip. The one I'm using tonight is a Teton Sport. You can buy this in different sizes and different temperatures, ratings. This one in particular is the XXL. Okay guys, so my other camera died on me. So unfortunately you didn't get to see me open up the sleeping bag, but it's a 0 degree sleeping bag. It's XXL because I'm a bigger guy. I have a hard time finding a sleeping bag that fits. And it is not a mummy bag. But I went ahead and closed up the tent, moved everything onto our sides. There's my sleeping bag, my sleeping pad, her sleeping bag and pad. And there's the dog. We're gonna try and spend the rest of the day outside to kind of acclimate a little bit to the temperature. Definitely gonna get a fire going. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun. And this is why I needed the stick. Give me the lighter.
Good job, Daddy.
So we just finished eating dinner, cleaned up. The sun's starting to set, it's getting darker, and the temperature is definitely dropping. So here in a few minutes, we're going to go in, change, and then head to the tent. So
Look at me.
yep. So we'll see you guys here in a little bit. Good morning. So it's cold. I don't know if you guys can see my breath. I definitely can. We definitely had a frost last night. Everything was soaking wet, including Amelia, because she woke up and decided she wanted to play with the tent. And touching a wet tent from the inside, not smart. And I've told her several times not to touch the tent. So she's inside taking a hot bath right now, and I've got some hot tea brewing. But all in all, the sleeping pad I used was wonderful. I was able to sleep on my side, no problem. Didn't feel the ground whatsoever. Amelia said she stayed warm all night. She slept really good. I slept really good. Georgia slept really good because I let her in because I felt bad for her. Yeah, now it's going to be leaving the tent set up so it can dry off, and time for some breakfast, I guess. So, sun's starting to come up. It's looking like it's going to be a great day. I don't know if you guys can see. But yeah, so next up is the sit-down discussion of the gear. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, everybody, I'm back. So, gonna do a quick summary / review of the camping trip. It's been several days since the camping trip, but I can still talk about the gear. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is the tent. To give you some information on the tent, it was made by FLTOM. I don't know how to properly pronounce the company name. It's a Chinese knockoff tent. Nothing special. It's a two-man trekking pole tent. So you have to have trekking poles to actually put it up, or go buy or have made poles for it. It's advertised as a 4-season tent. That is not the case. There's way too much mesh. I can say it was pretty chilly inside the tent. We did have a frost that night. It wasn't too bad, but if it wasn't for the sleeping bag I had, it wouldn't have been good. It would have been a very cold night. The dimensions of the tent, so when it is assembled, it is 6.98 feet by 4.92 feet by 3.61 feet. It's a decent amount of space. If I was sleeping in it by myself, it wouldn't be an issue. Since there was 2 of us in there, my feet were touching the end of the tent with my head just barely not touching the top. And I'm 5'11". So it's a tight fit. Like I said, if it was just me, I could have slept diagonal in it and it wouldn't have been an issue. But for 2 people, if you're tall, you're going to want to find another tent. The tent weighed in its compacted form. This isn't the tent, by the way. It weighed
only 3.5 pounds, which isn't bad. Compared to other tents, I've lugged around tents that weigh 15 pounds. Not a good day. So overall, it's not a heavy tent. It's not really a bad tent, depending on what you're planning on using it for. That being said, that is just the tent and some stakes and some guidelines. That you have to provide trekking poles yourself, or some kind of poles, whether it's you find sticks out on the trail and you use those. You have to provide some kind of poles. But overall, would I buy the tent? No. I don't have a use for it, and I just wasn't that impressed. It did go up relatively easy. I think the video I have of me putting it up, was literally my first time putting it up. I still had to attach all the guidelines and all that kind of stuff. So it took me longer to put it up on my first time. But knowing how to do it again, I can put it up in probably less than 5 minutes. But for a cheap Chinese knockoff, if you're on a tight budget, it'll work. I can't really speak to the waterproofing because I didn't have it long enough to let it sit out in the rain. It had to go back to its original owner. So, do I plan on trying to get it back to do a full review on it? No. That being said, let's move on to my sleep system. So, I was trying out an entirely new sleep system on this overnight, and I was testing it in my backyard to make sure everything worked. That way, if something didn't work, I'm already home. It's quick and easy for me to either come in and switch it out, or do what I need to do to actually sleep the night. So the sleeping bag, which is hanging up right here, lofting, it is a Teton Sports Double XL. It weighs 7 pounds, and it's 90 inches by 39 inches. Let me tell you, this is the most comfortable sleeping bag I've spent the night in. When I was camping in the Boy Scouts and as a kid, I always had issues sliding off my sleeping pad. So a little trick is to actually put your sleeping pad in your sleeping bag. And this guy right here is big enough, roomy enough inside to fit a 4-inch sleeping pad plus me. And I was able to zip it shut all the way, and I could lay on my side, my back, my stomach, any orientation. It was big enough to hold me. So that is one of the best things going for this sleeping bag. Let's talk about the temperature ratings. So it's advertised as a 0 degree bag, but that is the extreme limit. It's not the comfort rating. It's basically, if you absolutely have to, it'll keep you alive. You're going to be cold, you're going to be miserable, but you'll survive. That being said, that's pretty standard when most sleeping bags say they're rated for 0 degrees or 20 degrees, or usually you get it with your colder bags. You really got to double check the ratings and see which of the 3 ratings that actually is. This one, that is you'll survive. You're going to be cold and miserable, you're going to hate your life, but you'll live. It does have an interior storage pocket up at the top, and that's an awesome addition. It's great for cold nights. You can put if you have like a Sawyer Mini, any kind of small water filter, it'll fit in that. If you have batteries you want to actually survive the night and not be dead in the morning, your phone, stuff like that, it keeps it warm enough to where it's not going to freeze. So, and that's really big, especially if you have a small water filter and you're camping in the cold. That is one thing you definitely do not want to freeze, because then your water filter stops working. So that is a very great feature. I'm glad it has that. Last thing I want to mention about it is it packs up very big. By that, it's 17 inches by 12.5 inches when it's packed. And I have it lofting right now, so I can't show you the actual size of it when it's packed, but I have I believe it's a 70 liter internal frame backpack. I've had it for years, and it takes up almost half of my main compartment. So it packs up really big. That's probably the biggest downside for it. It's not great for backpacking. I probably will leave that in my car camping gear, or use it for when I go car camping, where I have more space and I'm not confined to just a small bag. That being said, like I said, it's one of the most comfortable sleeping bags I've slept in. It has a flannel lining, and it feels like you're laying with your sheets off of your bed. And it's great. I slept well with it. So the last thing I'm going to talk about, because I'm not going to talk about the sleeping pad and the sleeping bag that Amelia used, because she's not very good with words just yet. And I can't say like, oh yeah, it was great, it was wonderful, because I haven't tried it yet. That being said, do expect those reviews coming soon, because I will be using that equipment myself. But anyways, last thing I do want to talk about is the sleeping pad. I have it right here. It is the Extremis Micro I-Beam. Now, when I saw this, I was kind of excited because, first off, most of the time I'm a side sleeper, so I need something thicker than just 1.5 inches or an inch, and typically you want anywhere from 3 to 4 inches if you're a side sleeper. That's how thick you want your sleeping pad to be. Most of what I was finding was memory foam, a lot heavier, more for car camping. And I found this guy, the Micro I-Beam. It actually, what surprised me is it only weighs 1.8 pounds, which is awesome. It's light, great for backpacking. And the reason why it's able to be so light is because there's absolutely no foam insulation. It is just an air mattress. And what's even cooler about that is it has a built-in pump, which you guys saw in the video. It does take a few minutes to pump it up. It's not the fastest pump. It's literally just like a sponge in a compartment with a one-way valve. So you compress it, you push the air into the pad, and then you release, and the one-way valve lets air in. So it's a great idea. I love the idea, but it's not very well executed. I kind of wish the pump itself was a little bigger so you could move more air. The size, once it's fully inflated, is 75 inches by 25 inches by 4 inches. So it's a very tall, it's wide. I'm a big guy. It's wide enough for me. I didn't have any issues rolling off of it or anything like that, partly because it was stuffed in my sleeping bag. And that's something else. It's big enough that you fit on it, but small enough to still fit in a sleeping bag. As long as it's not a mummy bag, because this is a rectangle. You have to have a rectangular rectangly. You have to have a rectangular sleeping bag as well. The R value on this, it's not the greatest, but it's not real bad. I almost feel like the R value gets a boost because it was in the sleeping bag, so it's not so much open to the cooler air as well. It has that extra layer of insulation around it. But the R value for this is 3.6. Like I said, it's not the greatest, but it's got a higher R value than these guys right here, which these are 1.5 inches. Like I said, you'll see a review on those coming up. All in all, this is not a bad sleeping pad. Would I buy it again? If I was on a tight budget, yes. I believe this guy only cost me $25. There are other brands out there that have a very similar product. They're essentially the same thing. I would definitely buy the sleeping bag again. Like I said, the tent, no. I think the tent went for, or goes for like $65, $70 on Amazon. I don't even think it's worth that. You're better off saving another $100, $150 and buying something that's more decent, better quality. This sleeping pad, that was my first experience using it. It's all good for that experience. My only concern is, with it only being a $25 pad, how long is it actually going to last? How long until it gets a hole and I wake up on the flat ground? I think that's all I got for you. Don't forget, if you have any questions, comments, bitter complaints, leave a comment. Any suggestions, anything like that, let me hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe and share the channel. If you like what you see, share it. Spread it around. The more the channel grows, the more videos I can produce, the more fun I can bring you guys with me on, and it'll just all around help. Any kind of like donations or anything like that I get for the channel is just going to be put back into the channel. So yeah, let's help the FFO family grow. And now that I've done that spiel, I guess I'll see you on the water.